We're live from the Mattress Firm broadcast booth at NRG Stadium, where the Houston Texans have defeated Denver 22-17. What a game. Another one that comes down to the final moments and Coke memorable moments. Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Nothing like football, you, your friends, family, drinking ice-cold Coca-Cola, enjoying football. Coca-Cola together tastes better. All right. The two teams exchanged 3 and outs to start this one. After a short punt by Denver, 22 yards, Texans got after it. Will Anderson Jr. didn't block it, but loomed on that punt by Riley Dixon. Texans came up with a field goal drive, 29-yard connection from Matt Amendola, 10-0. Then the Texans got it back. They went 78 yards, thanks in large part to a big play by Nico Collins, who had many in this game, 52-yard reception. They got it down to the 3, and we heard from what feels like an old friend. Second and goal inside the 4. Stroud under center. Feeds Pierce straight ahead. Damian to the goal line. Damian gets in! Touchdown, Houston! Damian Pierce! His second rushing touchdown of the year. Pierce had 41 yards on the day. Now, Texans would score again. 38-yard field goal after a drive stalled out. 13-0 lead. Denver got a field goal before the half would end. 13-3. Well, Texans went to the locker room with a 10-point lead. Third quarter could not have begun much better. They got sacks from Will Anderson Jr. and Jonathan Grenard. Got the ball. Eventually got a 38-yard field goal in the third quarter to make it 16-3. You're feeling pretty good about the situation. But Russell Wilson went to work. Denver with a 58-yard drive, 45-yard touchdown pass to Cortland Sutton to make it 16-10. But in the fourth quarter, the takeaway train started to roll, and Derek Stingley Jr., third game in a row, he did something like this. First down, Broncos at their 20. Wilson, shotgun, one back, Williams. Wilson to throw. Ball tipped and picked off. Derek Stingley Jr. has the pick at the 21-yard line of Denver. His third of the season, and it couldn't have happened at a better time. Stingley pick set up a short Houston drive down to the 3 again, and they would score it another way. Second and goal at the 3. Stroud under center. Pierce the back. CJ fakes to give. He has a lot of time. Throws left side of the end zone. Caught. Nico Collins. Touchdown, Houston. So Nico with the TD reception to add on to his day. We'll get to his numbers in a moment. 22-10. Hey, everything's fine, right? Not so fast. Denver, 75 yards. Big play, 41-yard pass play to Jerry Jeudy. Set up a Russell Wilson 1-yard run, and we went to 22-17. Denver would get it back, and they would drive. They would kill a lot of clock. Final moments of this one. We're inside a minute. Broncos convert a 4th and 2. They get a goal to go at the 8. First and second down fail. And then third and goal from the 8. It's do or die for the Texans D, and this happens. Third and goal from the 8. Wilson in the gun. One back. P-Ride. Wilson gets the snap. Wilson chased. Wilson escapes the sack. Throws left side of the end zone.
Yes!
It's intercepted. The Texans have it. Jimmie Ward. Houston's going to win. 9 seconds to go. Jimmie Ward, first pick as a Texan. Houston getting pressure on Russell Wilson, picking him off 3 times. Stingley had 2. Ward had 1. And we had a ball game here today with the Texans prevailing 22-17. Dre, let's get the pass rush report going.
Yeah, our HEB sack report. The Texans had 3 sacks in today's game. Will Anderson Jr. had 2. And then Jonathan Grenard added a 3rd as part of Sacks for Hunger. HEB will donate $1,000 to the Houston Food Bank every time the Texans sack the quarterback. The HEB Sack Attack brought to you by HEB, the official tailgate headquarters of the Houston Texans.
So Grenard now has 8 on the season. Will Anderson Jr. has 5 sacks on the season. Good stuff to see there. Andre, what do you make of what you saw today? The Texans, still a young team, trouble putting teams away. But Denver's a good team. This team won 5 games in a row coming in. They're not going to blink, and they had beaten some good teams along the way. Houston came up with the big stops when they had to.
Yeah, I must be honest. There were games, and fans would stop me before the season started. Hey, how are the Texans going to be? I'm like, well, they'll be better, but I won't guarantee you that's going to show in the win column. But it is showing in the win
Yes.
column. I thought they would be better coached, better personnel, but yet still at this point trying to figure out how to win games.
Mm-hmm.
They figured it out. When you can do what they did at the end of this one and then find a way to win, that they are well on their way with this coaching staff and everybody involved in this thing. So contributions from pass rush, secondary, where we thought this would be an area where they would need to really, really step up. The offense and C.J. Stroud continuing to make strides. It's coming from everywhere. Mm-hmm. And the coaches calling timeouts, something as simple as that at the right time when you get a look so that you can adjust to that look if you don't match up well with it. All of that kind of factors into what went on today, and that obviously is a win.
Dameon Pierce, 41 yards. Devin Singletary, 36 yards. Look, the ground game in the first half looked pretty good. Second half, they couldn't get it going. Why was that? What were they doing?
Well, I think Denver just decided they were going to, hey, we're going to pack the box, and if you beat us throwing it, you just beat us throwing it, and which is why I think Nico had the type of game that he had when you're seeing so much one-on-one coverage. Obviously, good after the catch as well in those situations. But they decided coming out of the locker room, they being Denver, they were going to do everything they could to stop and get a handle on the running game of the Texans.
Tank Dell lost probably for the season. We hate to say that way. Fractured fibula was a report online. I hate to cite
probably
those things.
Gone the rest of the year. Definitely if they have to perform surgery. So, God, our hearts go out to Tank. He was having one heck of a season. He had a good start to today's game, but you know, it's part of it, and he'll be okay. He'll recover, and be ready to go for next season.
And that's just a report. Let's hope for the best. But Nico Collins, you mentioned his day. 9 catches, 191 yards at a touchdown.
Wanted to see him go over 2 badly.
Well, you have him on your fantasy team, so it's double dipping.
Not just
for you.
that, but for him. I mean, that's a good personal best in which to kind of set the mark.
Yeah,
200 yards receiving.
Amazing. 991 yards on the season now for Nico Collins.
9 yards away.
The Texans visit the Jets next week to try to get them over 1,000, but more importantly, try to get the next victory to get them to 8 because they are 7-5 right now after beating Denver 22-17. Defensive stop wins the game for the Houston Texans. Jimmie Ward with a pick. Third interception by Russell Wilson on the afternoon. Stingley had 2. Ward had the game-winning interception, an unofficial NFL stat, but that's what it was as they kept the Broncos out of the end zone. And Dre, Desmond King tackling today. 9 stops on the day. He led the team. Welcome back, Desmond King. And this is a great example of you never know in professional football.
Right.
King was a Steeler on this field against the Texans on J.J. Watt Day. Well, now he's back, and he's making a big contribution.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, it's I think it's ripe for everybody to kind of contribute to this team. And Desmond coming back, he left. A lot of guys, you and Johnny, felt like you wanted him here.
Yeah,
and he found a way to contribute. He seems to know the system. There was some retention on in terms of retaining information, not having to relearn a whole lot. And he's contributing. He's tackling. He's in position to make plays. He's making those plays. And at that spot last week, that was a point of need. They addressed it, and rightfully so.
What did you make of C.J. Stroud's performance today?
I like everything he's doing. I mean, there were some touch passes, some zip when he needed to, escaping the pocket. He doesn't look as quick and nifty as he actually is, and I kind of like the way he plays because he doesn't allow you to see that, but then he uses it when he needs to. So I like everything he's doing. He seems to get better every single week in and week out. He's elevating his game, and with him on the field, you have a chance to win.
Well, the Texans will head for the New York Jets next week at the Meadowlands, and we'll find out how that goes. Noon start, Central Time. Texans winners today over the Broncos, 22-17, stopping Denver's 5-game winning streak. And the Texans bounce back after losing to Jacksonville last week. Reliant Power Player of the Game, proud to be the official energy provider of the Houston Texans. Reliant. Dre, I can't pick just one person in this outing today. I mean, Nico Collins stands out to me. Stroud, of course, but
I mean, I'm going Nico Collins.
Stingley had 2 picks. That was pretty good too.
Yeah, I think he has really made a turn and headed in the right direction. Stingley and in his way of, and how he's playing. But I would still go Nico Collins. 9 for 191. That's tough.
Yeah, it was amazing to see all the
and that might
plays.
Put him. I mean, I know he was close to yards per catch in terms of having the most yards per catch
in the league.
In the league.
He led it early. Noah Brown actually had it, but I don't know minimum number of catches,
right.
That kind of thing. We'll see how it all factors in this week. But it's fun to keep track of. All right, Prime Sport Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Prime Sport. Visit primesport.com for your VIP experience needs. And by the way, the Indianapolis Colts have just defeated the Tennessee Titans in overtime, and they stay ahead of the Texans in this playoff race. They're 7-5. So the horseshoe, Dre, is the nemesis, and they continue to be that way as they knock off the Titans in Nashville with Gardner Minshew and friends, and a late touchdown pass in overtime gets the job done for the Colts.
Yep.
Ouch.
We've got to see them one more time and the Titans twice, which by the time the Texans get to the Titans, they might fold a 10 up, which is a good thing.
Yep, and they had every chance in the world to win this football game. Kicked a field goal in overtime, but the Colts drove downfield and eventually got the game-winning touchdown, and that's all she wrote. But Houston will take their situation 7-5, have to, 22-17 victory. Jets next week. The Jets now 4-7 going in, so they lose. They go to 4-8 on the season. 13-8 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. And they play both Boyle and Simeon today. Simeon came off the bench to go 5 for 13, 66 yards. Dalvin Cook, 35 yards. They are really hurting, obviously. Their story well chronicled. What do you make of them, though? They still play defense. They held the opponent to 13 points on the afternoon.
Yeah, what they're doing, though, is splitting the team right down the middle. When you can't settle on a quarterback, then everybody's got an opinion on who the quarterback should be. And so you keep rotating and putting guys in, taking a guy out. They should have just stuck with Zach Wilson. At least at that point, they were competitive. They had started to win. He was starting to round into form just a little enough, and but they went away from him. This is on the Jets and Robert Saleh and making those changes, or so many whole-scale changes, especially at the position that matters most of quarterback.
Noon start at the Meadowlands 1 week from today as the Texans try to make it 2 in a row and fire up another winning streak after winning today against Denver. We want to thank everyone who worked on the broadcast today. Robert Hensley, our halftime host and producer. Our engineer, Aaron Rabel. Back at the studio at Network Control, it's Ryan Rocket. Chris Santiago with the highlight work. John Harris with the sideline reporting duties. Andre Ware with game analysis, and I'm Marc Vandermeer, thanking you all for listening. Once again, the final score from NRG Stadium, the Houston Texans 22, the Denver Broncos 17. This is Texans Radio.
You've been listening to Houston Texans Football, brought to you by Reliant Energy, Houston Area Ford Dealers, Coshada Casino Resort, and by Red Diamond. This is Texans Radio.